Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. Major developments here in the deadly shooting of Charlie Kirk. Tonight, authorities say the suspect's DNA has been found. They say the DNA found on a screwdriver and on a towel used to wrap the high-powered rifle. Tonight, law enforcement sources telling ABC News the suspect, Tyler Robinson, allegedly tracked Charlie Kirk's schedule and studied maps of the Utah Valley University campus. The FBI tonight on the chilling message the suspect allegedly sent to a friend, saying, quote, I have an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. The 911 calls now made public.
He just got shot in the middle of his speech.
Our team standing by with new reporting tonight, and our Pierre Thomas one-on-one with Attorney General Pam Bondi just moments ago. Also breaking as we come on tonight, the dramatic images released just a short time ago. President Trump says the U.S. military carried out another deadly strike on a boat. The president warning tonight, quote, we are hunting you. Tonight, the alarming discovery. Police say a bomb was found under a news van in Salt Lake City. Authorities say the device was lit but failed to function. The images tonight, police swarming a house. Tonight, a popular chef under arrest, accused of robbing 3 American banks in one day. Toxic air on the plane. Tonight, the alarming new report claiming toxic fumes are leaking into airplane cabins, what the Wall Street Journal found. President Trump suggesting there could be a deal over the future of TikTok in the U.S. The stunning image, the moment a delivery truck is swallowed by a sinkhole. Tonight, the star quarterback sidelined. How long will he be off the field? What they're saying. And he was behind many of the Monkees' most iconic hits. Tonight, the music as we pay tribute to a famous American songwriter.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to start another week with all of you at home. We do begin tonight with major developments here emerging in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tonight, the FBI says it has recovered the suspect's DNA from the scene and from the towel around the high-powered rifle found in the woods. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News tonight that the suspect allegedly laid out his attack, tracking Charlie Kirk's schedule and studying a map of that campus. And tonight we are hearing the first harrowing calls to 911. And the suspected gunman, Tyler Robinson, the FBI says allegedly sending a chilling message to a friend saying, quote, I have an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. And from Capitol Hill at this hour, Speaker Mike Johnson leading a vigil in Statuary Hall. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman leading us off again tonight from Utah.
Tonight, law enforcement sources painting a detailed picture of how Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, allegedly plotted his attack, saying Robinson tracked Kirk's schedule for days, studying maps of the Utah Valley University campus, and at some point before the shooting, allegedly sending a friend this message.
The suspect wrote it out saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it.
Authorities say Robinson took his shot from the roof of a campus building about 175 yards from where Kirk was speaking, firing as Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
What came next? Sheer panic. And you can see it in these images and hear it in newly released 911 calls.
The Kirk speaker at UVU just got shot in the head.
Okay, what's the address?
UVU.
And what happened?
He's a speaker, famous guy, Speaker Kirk.
Where
he just got shot in the middle of
you?
his speech.
Another caller describing a moment of crisis. Kirk whisked off stage.
He got rushed off in an SUV, a black SUV. He got right in the neck, so I don't think he has lungs.
Okay, did you see did you see it happen?
Yes, I saw everything.
In the chaos, authorities say Robinson slipped away. Cameras capturing a shadowy figure on the roof, then scampering across before dropping to the ground and running off. And tonight, the FBI says they found Robinson's DNA on a screwdriver left on that roof and on a towel wrapped around the rifle they found in the woods nearby. Investigators say Robinson meticulously planned his attack. They say this security video obtained by TMZ shows him arriving on campus before he changed into the familiar outfit seen in those widely circulated photos. Black cap, dark sunglasses, and a shirt with an American eagle on it. This video shows a man matching the suspect's description, appearing to limp. Law enforcement sources telling us he was walking that way because he'd hidden his rifle underneath his clothes. Authorities say that after the shooting, Robinson shared messages with his roommate indicating what he had done. Utah Governor Spencer Cox says that roommate did not have any knowledge of Robinson's plan and was shocked.
His roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. He is cooperating with authorities.
The New York Times reports that after the shooting, the suspect also exchanged messages in a group chat on a messaging app. Several of the group members apparently joking that Robinson resembled the person in those photos. And in the message described by the Times, Robinson responding that the man in the picture was his doppelganger, and people were trying to get him in trouble. Tonight, the Washington Post reporting that the day after the shooting, Robinson confessed to friends in an online chat, writing, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." The next day, Robinson turned himself in, his own father and a family friend driving him to a nearby sheriff's office. How would you characterize the sum total of evidence that you have built against Tyler Robinson?
The evidence is enormous. We are confident that we have the sole shooter responsible for Charlie Kirk's death.
On the right, Kirk now mourned Vice President J.D. Vance filling in for his slain friend today on the Charlie Kirk show. And like President Trump, Vance blaming the left for the surge in political violence in our country, ignoring recent attacks against Democrats like the assassination of Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, who were shot and killed in their own home just over 3 months ago.
People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem.
The administration tonight vowing revenge. And David, that suspect is now an inmate in that jail behind me, and authorities say that so far he has refused to cooperate. And investigators describe a young man who was deeply immersed in the online video game culture. They say that his family members described him as becoming increasingly political of late and critical of Charlie Kirk. Now the DA plans to formally present murder charges tomorrow, David.
Matt Gutman leading us off here tonight. Matt, thank you. Tonight, the White House now threatening to crack down on what it calls left-wing terror. Just moments ago, our Pierre Thomas speaking one-on-one with Attorney General Pam Bondi.
It doesn't matter who it is. Yes, who killed Charlie? Left-wing radicals, and they will be held accountable. So will anyone in this country who commits a violent crime against anyone. And the death penalty, thanks to Donald Trump, is on the table again.
The interview moments ago. Let's bring in Pierre tonight. What else did you learn from the Attorney General, Pierre, as far as evidence gathered so far?
David, the Attorney General was adamant that they have DNA evidence to prove Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk, and she also says the evidence will prove that he's a left-wing radical. When I pressed the AG about the president and others in the administration saying that this is mainly a left-wing problem, she made clear that she will be pursuing any left-wing groups that can be tied to political violence, but she also said that radicals come in all political persuasions, and that she will be going after all of them. David?
Pierre Thomas live there at the White House. Pierre, thank you. To the other breaking news tonight, dramatic images released just a short time ago. President Trump tonight saying the U.S. military has carried out another deadly strike on a boat from Venezuela. The president warning tonight, quote, "We are hunting you." Here's our chief Washington correspondent, Jon Karl.
Tonight, President Trump released this video, which he said shows another U.S. military strike in international waters targeting narco-terrorists from Venezuela, who he claimed were attempting to smuggle drugs into the United States. Trump announced the strike, which he said killed 3 people, on social media, saying, quote, "Be warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you." This comes just 2 weeks after Trump announced the strike on another alleged boat of drug smugglers from Venezuela, a strike he said killed 11 members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. The strikes represent an unprecedented use of American military power against alleged smugglers that are usually handled by law enforcement. Tonight, President Trump acknowledged that the U.S. strikes could accidentally hit fishing boats.
I mean, to be honest, if I were a fisherman, I wouldn't want to go fishing. Just a nice, let's take a little trip, because I'd say, man, if maybe they think I have drugs downstairs. I don't want that.
Tonight, there are renewed questions about the first strike. A U.S. official tells ABC News the boat had turned around before the strike. But Secretary of State Marco Rubio said today it doesn't matter which direction the boat was heading.
What needs to start happening is some of these boats need to get blown up. Some of these boats need to be not just intercepted, but stopped, no matter what direction they plan to head.
Today, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro called that first attack a criminal strike, and some here in the United States, including at least one Republican senator, have said the attacks on these alleged gunboats are illegal. But today, just a short while ago, the president vowed to attack drug smugglers, suspected drug smugglers on land, just as he has those at sea. This as the U.S. has beefed up military assets in the region. David?
All right, Jon Karl also at the White House tonight. Jon, thank you. Now to an alarming discovery. Police say a bomb was found under a news van in Salt Lake City. Authorities say the device was lit but failed to function. And tonight the images here, police swarming a house and the charges the suspects will now face. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, the FBI is investigating a near catastrophe in Salt Lake City after authorities say two men tried to detonate a bomb they'd placed under a Fox 13 news vehicle. That improvised explosive device discovered Friday. According to the affidavit, the vehicle was parked next to an occupied building and the device had been lit but failed to function as designed. Saturday morning, the FBI and bomb squad raiding a residence in Salt Lake County where they say they found 58-year-old Adib Nasir and 31-year-old Adil Justice Ahmed Nasir. They say they also found two hoax weapons of mass destruction and claim both suspects stated that the devices were real.
I just seen them pulling the guys out. Looked like it wasn't going very nicely.
Authorities rushing to evacuate the entire neighborhood while they cleared the scene. And investigators say they discovered firearms, explosive materials, and illegal narcotics from the home. The suspects are now facing a slew of charges, including possession of weapons of mass destruction and threatening terrorism.
And David, this incident comes as media members have blanketed Utah covering the Charlie Kirk shooting. Police say they're still searching for a motive. David?
It was alarming indeed. Trevor, thank you. Tonight, a well-known chef is under arrest in San Francisco. He stands accused of robbing 3 banks in one day. Police say in one case, the suspect passed a note to the teller demanding cash. Here's Kena Whitworth.
Tonight, a once celebrated chef known for sharing his flair for Italian cooking online, now behind bars, accused of robbing 3 banks in San Francisco in a single day. Police say just after noon on September 10th, Valentino Lucan entered the first bank and passed a note to the teller demanding money and fleeing with the cash. Lucan then allegedly targeted 2 more banks. He was arrested later that day, and authorities say it was tips that linked him to the robberies. But it's not Lucan's first brush with the law. In 2018, he was arrested for allegedly robbing a bank armed with a gun outside of San Francisco and taking off with over $15,000.
We were just told it was a pistol, a firearm, and that's what we were reacting on.
Did he threaten the bank clerk, or?
I understand he presented it in a manner that was threatening.
Lucan was sentenced to a year in jail after pleading no contest to second-degree robbery. He claimed the firearm was a BB gun, and financial fallout from his shuttered restaurant drove him to commit the crime.
And David, Lucan is now facing several robbery charges in San Francisco, and he's being held on $200,000 bond. David.
Kena Whitworth here in New York tonight. Kena, thank you. We turn this evening to the alarming new report claiming toxic fumes are leaking into airplane cabins. The Wall Street Journal reporting the number of incidents is now accelerating. Pilots, flight attendants, and passengers complaining of illnesses. Gio Benitez covers aviation.
Tonight, a new Wall Street Journal investigation finding the rate of flights with toxic fume events is accelerating, sickening crews and passengers.
We started to find that these incidents were being caused by little bits of oil, sometimes a lot of oil, leaking into the engines and then feeding into the cabin.
The events, which can happen on any plane, are driven in large part by leaks on the Airbus A320. On most planes, air is pulled in from the outside through the engines, so if any seals are worn or degraded, oils from lubricated bearings could enter the air and vaporize heat, releasing unknown quantities of toxic compounds, according to the Wall Street Journal report. The Journal also says they found one neurologist who has treated about a dozen pilots and more than 100 flight attendants for what has been described as brain injuries after alleged exposure to fumes on planes over the last 20 years. According to the Journal's review of internal documents, Airbus loosened maintenance rules to allow planes to return to service more quickly.
An aircraft would have an event, the issue wouldn't be dealt with and then be sent back into the skies regardless.
In a statement to ABC News, Airbus standing by their standards, saying its aircraft are designed and manufactured according to all relevant and applicable airworthiness requirements. And David, not all smells or vapors are toxic, but the airlines do have to report them. And the FAA says studies show that cabin air is as good as or even better than air in offices or homes. David?
Gio Benitez reporting tonight. Thank you, Gio. Tonight, the Trump administration is signaling it's close to a deal with China over TikTok. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying the U.S. and China have reached the, quote, framework for a deal. TikTok owner ByteDance has until Wednesday's deadline to sell to a U.S.-approved buyer or risk TikTok being blocked in the U.S. President Trump and China's President Xi could announce a deal when they speak together on Friday. When we come back here tonight, a major recall involving mac and cheese. Also, the star quarterback sidelined. How long will he be off the field? The man behind the music for the Monkees. Tonight we pay tribute here. Also, the stunning images. A sinkhole opens up, swallowing a delivery truck right there. What we know about the driver tonight. And the alarming scene from the Pennsylvania Turnpike. A tire goes flying, smashing into an SUV. The occupants seriously injured. More in a moment here. Tonight, frightening moments on the Pennsylvania Turnpike when a tire that went airborne right into an SUV, the windshield and sunroof smashed in. Police say the tire came off another vehicle. 2 people in the SUV were seriously injured. Remarkable video out of Mexico tonight as a sinkhole swallows a delivery truck. The sinkhole opening up on a street in Mexico City. You can see it right there. The truck tipping in, falling rear first into that sinkhole. The driver escaping just in time. That's incredible. When we come back here tonight, the NFL quarterback who could miss most of the season and the recall tonight over a certain kind of mac and cheese in a moment. To the index of other news, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow is now sidelined because of an injury. He went down, of course, during the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. ESPN tonight reporting he suffered a sprain to his left big toe, an injury often called turf toe. He will need surgery. He could be out at least 3 months. A recall tonight for a certain kind of vegan macaroni and cheese over a possible allergy risk. Goodles Foods issuing alerts on its Here Comes Truffle and Vegan is Believin' products. The company says they may contain milk or cashews, which are not listed on the labels. Goodles Foods tonight saying 8 people have reported allergic reactions. To a beautiful display in Vatican City, the Grace for the World concert drew 250,000 people to St. Peter's Square. Along with the music, a stunning drone light show, the full concert now on Disney+. When we come back here tonight, remembering the life of the songwriter behind many of the Monkees' biggest hits. Finally tonight here, celebrating the man behind the music for the Monkees. Tonight, you know the song. Hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we're monkeying around. The theme song for the hit 1966 TV show The Monkees. The show about a fictional rock group based off the Beatles, making them real-life rock stars. Behind the music, songwriter Bobby Hart, along with his best friend Tommy Boyce. They actually wrote that theme song during a walk to the park. The duo writing the songs for the Monkees, helping to catapult them to stardom. Their song, Last Train to Clarksville.
Take the last train to Clarksville and I'll meet you at the station. You can be here by 4:30, 'cause I made your reservation. Don't be slow.
I'm not your stepping stone.
I'm not your stepping stone.
Valerie. In 1967, the Monkees becoming the only group in history of the Billboard 200 to have 4 #1 albums in the same year. Along the way, those songwriters performing on their own on Dick Clark's American Bandstand.
What's the best thing that's happened to you lately?
I think the best thing is becoming successful as artists, which is what we always wanted to do from the beginning. You know?
Performing their songs on I Dream of Jeannie.
What's been going on around here that hasn't gone on all year?
I give you Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart.
And Bewitched.
Reaches your lips, my dear. You're gonna smile and feel me oh so near.
The two helping to write Come a Little Bit Closer to the group Jay and the Americans.
Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man.
But it was their chart-topping songs for the Monkees that helped cement them as one of the most prolific and successful writing duos of the 1960s. Tonight, Bobby Hart has died at home in Los Angeles at the age of 86. Bobby Hart, in his own words.
I feel blessed when looking back at the times when I faced life's challenges with perseverance and optimism. Had I failed to get up and start again each time I stumbled, it's a good bet I never would have reached even a small portion of my dreams.
Music will be in your head all night. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.